So when I started with one of my songs, when I started recording, it wasn't sounding right because I decided to start off by singing something, but I didn't have anything to sing along to. So I created a MIDI track, which was just a piano sound of the chord progression. I wanted to create harmonies and stack on each other. So by creating this melody, it created a guide for me to sing along to, and I could sing in pitch. So that was to help with that. So this is me inputting these notes manually myself. Follow here, and you can copy and paste them to keep them going. On the side is the keyboard, so I know what notes they actually are and the intervals and that they all go right together. And with this I can record well and I can stack my layers. Now in this particular song there are 26 tracks of my voice layered, and I double tracked each layer of each record I've put in, and I had one on the left side and one on the right side, so it created a thicker effect. So doubled up vocals is 26 entire layers. So recording 26 different recordings of my voice took a very long time because I was very unhappy with the way they sounded, so I had to record them until they sounded right. So this is me recording with the MIDI and it sounds instantly better. So that was very helpful.
Mama said, baby, don't cry. You better dress up and be a big girl. Mama, I'm scared of living. Is Daddy gonna drive us up the hill? Daddy done lost his mind.
So this is the mixing and mastering process. So right now, while I was just looking at the linear phase EQ, which I'm doubling on these voices, and I'm just making the lower ends lower and the higher ends higher to expand the sound and make it louder and better. So I'm doing that to pretty much every track here. And on the more bass sounds, obviously I want to get the lower end higher, and on the higher sounds I want to get the higher end higher. So now I'm going to open a multimeter which measures the levels of sound. So if there's too much low end or too much high end or too much mid, I can even that out with a linear phase EQ for the whole entire song. When I fix this, the sound won't come out fuzzy when it's saved as a like MP3 file, because if you have too much high and too much low end, it won't sound good. So now I'm mixing all the different tracks, which means adjusting the volume so the mix is good, bringing like obviously my solo voice louder and the backing voice in the background, changing volume and all that. And here I am doing more, changing the EQ and mixing master it. It's just all of that. All of this took me a really long time because I wanted to get it to sound perfect. This is a nice little time lapse of me setting up one of the scenes for my film. So I had Kate lie down and I lit all these tea light candles around her because I thought it would look cool, and it did end up looking very cool. However, it did take me half an hour to set this all up and put all the candles down in place and light them, and it was also a very annoying summer night. A lot of bugs bit us, but it ended up being worth it in the end. So this was the beginning of the editing process for me. So I looked through all my footage and picked the best parts and cut through it all. The way I work with films, especially my music videos and short films, is I film everything not in chronological order, and then I decide the order when I'm editing. I have a general idea of what I want, but it's not frame by frame, shot by shot, and that's not how music videos or short films, the ones I've looked at, are done. So it coincides with what I'm doing in the first place. It's not a storyline short film. So this is me looking at my footage, picking out the best ones and cutting it up. You will see me putting effects on these soon, but I like to get my footage together first and have it ordered, and then I do my color grading. And I put all of my color grading techniques that I've done in my folio. So this is more to just show me chopping up and editing my footage and putting it together and seeing what looks best. And I did put a lot of these shots in slow motion, and when I filmed at 50 frames per second, which ended up being very helpful because I could slow-mo whatever I wanted and it was smooth. And when I export my film, I'll export it at 24 frames per second, so the footage doesn't look awkwardly smooth and unfinished. So it's feature film frame rate, which will be good, and everyone will like that. Thank you for watching my 6-minute video.